When it comes to gospel music, there's a whole lot of heart into it. There's a whole ministry aspect to it. As you said, the authenticity of it sometimes is something very difficult for a human to judge, if for lack of a better word. So
right.
To put a system like this in place where you have, these very hardworking judges as well, who would filter the songs and filter the recordings and the performances and find these outstanding music ministers and outstanding performers. It must have taken some time to get that system together.
In terms of answering your question, we had 4 years on the local level to tweak things and to really get it to the point where once we went regional and we explained our position, artists and their managers and other persons understood that we were looking for identifying the most outstanding achievement in Caribbean gospel. And that it was never about, again, identifying the substance of someone's ministry. We can never judge that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But what we could judge is how well you approach your songwriting, your production, your engineering, mix, mastering, and in some cases, even your graphic design in the packaging category, photography, graphics, etc. And the idea was that once nominations were released and also once we release winners, that persons who may have not been successful can look to those persons who were nominated, study their work to be inspired and encouraged to say, okay, I kind of see why these 6 or 7 artists made the nomination list. Right. And then once winners are released, they go back further and said, okay, I kind of see why that particular song or music video was the one that was determined to be the most outstanding in this category. Right. And so far, it's worked. It has helped to motivate a lot of artists, those who are established and those coming up, to continue to strive for excellence. And that's the motivation.
What have been maybe the greatest challenge that the Marlin Awards would have encountered over the years? Because something like this is not very easy to put together, one. And two, there might be a lot of detractors, for lack of a better word, that might not appreciate what you're trying to establish or the work that you're putting over the years. What would you say would have been some of the greater challenges faced with the Marlin Awards over the last 25 editions?
Well, I'll tell you, over the last, it's 26 years, technically, because of the pandemic, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. We brought it over to this year. But I'll tell you, I think it's two things. One has been financing in terms of getting corporate Bahamas, corporate Caribbean to understand that the sponsorship of an event like the Marlin Awards and our artists is just as a valuable return on investment as it is for the secular counterpart. As a matter of fact, I think in the Bahamas, I know for sure, and I can't speak for all the region, but in the Bahamas, I can tell you that the Marlin Awards has outperformed any secular award show. It has outlasted any secular award show, and it has produced over the years and has awarded over the years not only a number of well-known regional and local artists, but we've had international winners, including BB and CC Winans, Donnie McClurkin. They've all won Marlin Awards. Israel and New Breed, Diedrich Haddon. And so the awards, it's not just local or regional, it is global. And so from a financing standpoint, that has been one of the major hurdles to get corporate Caribbean or corporate Bahamas to understand that it's a good investment to be behind what we're doing. I believe we are moving the goalposts each time we do this. More of them are understanding it's important to invest in the gospel community and to get behind gospel artists, whether they're in Trinidad, St. Lucia, the Bahamas, Barbados, wherever. The second challenge has been, and I'll tell you, this is really the most interesting, and that has been the attitude and the maturity of some of the artists. All right. Now, if you've ever been a part of my committee, one of the things I warn them about before we do any awards, like we're going to do in a few weeks, and before anybody touches down, I prepare them to not be disappointed because some of the people that they're listening to and they admire now, by listening to their records, watching the videos, it has been our experience that sometimes when they arrive, and my team and myself, of course, I'm a little bit more used to it, being an artist myself, they sometimes unfortunately encounter the more human side of that individual, eh?
Right.
And one of the things that could be disappointing, and again, I'm fixed in because I'm involved in a lot of things. So, but if I tell you, and if I was to repeat some of the things that have been told to my team and to me,
Right.
by even top names in some cases, you will be surprised.
Wow.
And if we tell stories of some of the decisions that were taken, some of the attitudes that you encounter,
Okay.
you'll be floored. But it doesn't move us or move me to the point of being so disappointed that we stop doing this. We keep moving forward. And some of those individuals, we have had to sit and reconcile some situations. But that's one of the reasons, again, that I insist that, one, this is not a popularity contest.
Right.
Two, this is not a reflection on your ministry or what God has called you to be. This is just simply your colleagues in this industry listening carefully to your recorded material and making a determination. If you keep that in mind, then you don't walk away offended or anything if you're not successful, or if even at the first phase, if you're not even nominated. And in this year, we've had a number of artists that did not make nomination.
Right. And speaking of nominations, there are particular artists who would have, capped a large number of nominations, some 13, some 9, some 12. Who would you say are some of the bigger contributors in terms of the Caribbean islands to the Marlin Awards? Who would be maybe the more outstanding performers? Which islands would you say that contributes greater to the Marlin Awards over the years?
I'll tell you, when we first merged with the region,
right,
Jamaica was really the forerunners in terms of the regional islands, along with the Bahamas, producing the most material, submitting the most material for consideration in terms of nomination count and winners. So in the early days, it was really between Jamaica and the Bahamas.
Okay.
And then came this island called Trinidad.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I don't know when that happened, but all of a sudden, we started seeing more and more recorded material and music videos, including even graphics, coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. And I can tell you, without any contradiction, that right now, at least for the last 3 award seasons, Trinidad has been the leader or leading country that has submitted the most material and that has certainly walked away with the most nominations. And in the past, at least the last 2, if not the last 3 award seasons, walked away with the most wins.
Wow.
And so certainly from a country standpoint, Trinidad and Tobago has done extremely well. It's really like, and I could use this word, and I stand, and I don't think I'll be contradicted. I think Trinidad has successfully, through its gospel industry, be it organized or not, successfully developed a good industry, a very strong industry, and developed a tremendous cadre of very talented artists. And I think the country, Trinidad, needs to be commended. I think the gospel music leaders in Trinidad and the industry professionals and the artists, including radio personnel and others, who've all, in my opinion, played a contribution. And in that, I have to inject, the contribution of my late, great, dear friend, Jamie Thomas, who was very instrumental in helping to bring together many of the things that you and I are talking about. It would not have been possible if it was not for the contribution of Jamie Thomas.
Excellent.
And so he has been with me with the Marlin Awards for many, many years, working this vision, sharing the message. And of course, from the Trinidad side, he has tremendously been a good light and an awesome ambassador for the country. So yes, so Trinidad right now is, in my humble opinion, the leader in Caribbean gospel. And I think the country and all of its artisans should be very proud.
Well, not because you said that, but I am Trinidadian, just say.